Those of us gathering here today symbolize the community's belief that libraries are an integral part of this community. Together, we are witnessing the county's support of the necessity of libraries in the 21st century. I'll let you know a few reasons why our libraries are vital and of value to this community. First, they are the ultimate equalizers. For people who can't afford computers, libraries are godsends, places where there are millions of tools of learning, and to include computers with internet access, and it's all free of charge. Not to mention that you can come here and apply for a job using our computers and also be assisted by knowledgeable staff. Second, libraries continue to be symbols of democracy in a country dedicated to that ideal. Classes on citizenship, to speak English, and learning to read are offered in many of our branches. A third reason libraries are so essential to us is because they're dynamic centers for learning in this digital age. They foster many opportunities to a diverse population. There are book discussion clubs, chess clubs, Scrabble clubs, lectures on genealogy, and lectures on financial success through planning wisely. These are some of the programs that are held for adults at the full-service branches. And then at all of our branches, we have story times, and there are some early literacy centers that help develop the skills of our young preschoolers. A fourth value of the libraries is not just because they contain books, AV, and computers, but they continue to be places where individuals gather to explore, interact, imagine, and learn. And by making available study rooms, community rooms, large meeting rooms, again, these are all available to our citizens without cost, and they are used repeatedly, and it's amazing, our waiting list for these rooms. It's an important service that we're offering to everybody in this community. And my last reason that libraries are really important is because they are staffed with professionals who select the books and materials based on their vast knowledge of subjects, ranging from anthropology to zoology, and they also have the training to distinguish between quality information and all the junk that's out there and available to us. As you can tell from this sneak peek of the Montclair Community Library, it was designed to attract and welcome our diverse community. It will be a place not only to learn and check out materials, but it will be a gathering place for this community. And this branch will reflect the changing needs of 21st century citizens by remaining fluid and flexible and vital to one and all. Today, the Prince William Board of County Supervisors are also joined by Congressman Rob Whitman, Delegate Michael Fertel. We also have the Commonwealth Attorney, Paul Ebert, with us. We have former Mayor of Quantico, Ralph Tylis. The Planning Commissioner, Renee Fry. President of the Montclair Property Association, Tracy Hansen. And the school board member, Betty Covington. Thank you all for joining us. It is important also to thank the Library Board of Trustees for their support. Burke Andrews is the chairman of our board, and he represents the Occoquan District. We have Brian Murphy. He's our vice chair and is a representative from the Brentsville District. Catherine Turner is our representative from the Coles District. Mary Jo Rigby is here from the Gainesville District. Harriet Rowe is from our Neabsco District. Corrine Dorr is from our Potomac District. Constance Harris represents the Woodbridge District. Taliba Hassan, she's our member at large. And then we also have William Boyce, who is the representative from the city of Manassas. And we have Preston Banks, who is our representative from the city of Manassas Park. In addition, I want to recognize and thank the Prince William Public Library Foundation, specifically their president, Brianna Altman, for her and their advocacy on all things library. I wish to acknowledge, too, the newly formed Friends of the Montclair Community Library. They have a table in the back, so if you've got some cash with you or a check, I'm sure they would be happy to get your membership this afternoon. And of course, we have to thank the Luke Meyer Partnership, the architects who came up with this wonderful design. We need to thank the building art contractor also, KBE Building Corporation. And today, the following businesses supported the ribbon cutting ceremony: Giant Foods, Confections Cupcakery, Acada Realty Trust. They're the ones who are allowing us to park in their parking lot next door. And of course, I sincerely thank my library staff for their countless hours in preparing for the sneak peek, and there are many more hours that they will be doing to contribute to the marvelous library yet to come. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Maureen Caddigan, Potomac District Supervisor on the Prince William Board of County Supervisors. She will be recognizing the board.
Wow. Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is certainly a very special day for the community, for the region, and this is the long-awaited library that's finally here. You know, when I looked at the weather yesterday, I thought, oh my gosh, another setback, because there have been several, and God was good to us. So here we are today celebrating this magnificent building. You know, 30 years ago, South Lake Shopping Center proffered land for a library in this community, and the successful bond referendum voted on by the taxpayers was approved in 2006. Finally, after all those years, the beautiful library will open today along with the Barnes House, which is an important link to the post-Civil War African-American cultural experience here in Prince William County. The house will serve as a place for library patrons, tourists, and school children to learn about the county's significant African-American history. Brendan Hannifin, our Chief of Historical Properties, will share the history of the house and its residents with you in just a few minutes. I wonder if Pat Lightfoot is here. I wanted to mention Pat's name because she's a Gainesville resident who came before our board and asked us, just around the time of the bond referendum, to save the two historical Barnes and Bushy homes. The Bushy home is in the Gainesville Library. That would have been lost with the widening of Route 234. And we are certainly glad that Ms. Lightfoot came to the board and we listened. Now, my board members are sitting here and they're saying, how come I'm not recognized? Well, I am going to recognize you. I wanted to recognize you. So first, let me just say we have with us today John Jenkins, our longest serving supervisor on the board representing the Neabsco District, and his wife, Ernestine. We have with us Marty Noe from the Coles District. Mike May from the Occoquan District. And I'm looking over here and I see the former supervisor, Ed Wilburn. You took the trip from Haymarket to come over here. Thank you for coming. And certainly I want to recognize Peter Canlon, who opened the new Gainesville Haymarket Library last week, and it is a beauty. Beautiful. Peter? Peter has worked closely with me to ensure that the two libraries, one here and in Gainesville, were built. So thank you for being here, Pete. Chairman Stewart is not with us today. He is so disappointed. He was called out of town wanted to be here today because he was very, very supportive of our two libraries, working with Pete, myself, members of our board, to make sure that this became a reality. I don't know whether his staff is here or not. If they are, there you are. Hi, Bobby, and thank you for coming. Former Supervisor John Sterrup. Did John make it today? John Sterrup was the Gainesville representative before Peter Canlin, and back in 2006, we worked together to get both libraries into the bond. This would not have been here today if we didn't get the libraries into that bond referendum, so it was a great partnership. Well, when people think of Montclair, they think of the water, they think of the trees, they think of blues and greens, and that is what has been brought into the design of this building. In fact, the concept of the design was to create a treehouse-like experience where wood and stone would follow you through every part of the building until you stepped out into the terrace, looking out high above, almost forgetting just for a moment that you are in a beautiful library. Now, Stuart Gilman, I know he doesn't want me to say anything, but that's Connie's husband and her biggest supporter. He sent me some historical background on the creation of a public library. And a gentleman by the name of John Sharp proposed that a library institution should be public and provincial and open every day of the week at convenient hours when all men may have liberty to read in the library. You know, that was back in the 1700s. Libraries flourished in the 1800s and were called the Carnegie Libraries. Included in Stuart's research are a few quotes that I'd like to share with you. Benjamin Franklin said, "Libraries are important because an investment in knowledge is always in the best interest." And Walter Cronkite said, "Whatever the cost of our libraries, the price is cheap compared to that on an ignorant nation." And finally, Laura Bush said, "Libraries allow children to ask questions about the world and find the answers. And the wonderful thing is that once a child learns to use a library, and the doors of learning will always be open." So I want to thank you, Stuart, for sharing this with me. I wanted to also, when I was mentioning the supervisors, I did want to mention a man that is a big, big supporter of mine, and I didn't want to let it go by, and that's my husband, Jim Caddigan. Jim, would you stand up? I know I embarrassed him as well. Connie, we got even, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Connie Gilman, first of all, there are many, many people to thank, and I'm sure that I will forget somebody. That always happens. Connie Gilman, our Director of Libraries, and Andrew Spence, Communications Manager, Prince William Public Library System. Both of you, here we are over there, Andrew, don't hide. Both of them worked tirelessly on the logistics to ensure that everything was in order for today. And that was not an easy task. You should have seen this place last Tuesday. I can't forget Mary Tompkins, she's with the library system, and she is devoted to our libraries. Where are you, Mary? She's here someplace. I don't see you, but I know she's here. I would like to thank Forest Park High School Choir Director Lara Britton and the Platinum Vocal Jazz Ensemble for the beautiful rendition of our national anthem. Let's give them a hand. Thanks also to Forest Park High School Orchestra Director, Mr. Benjamin Pereira, and the ensemble who will be playing for you, and they have been playing for us here inside. You know, it's wonderful to have Forest Park High School so close by. I know that they are going to use this facility quite a bit. I want to thank Pastor Michael Edwards from the Heritage Baptist Church for your beautiful invocation. Thank you. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Pastor Carruthers, who will be up at the end, Pastor Carruthers from the Montclair Tabernacle, for the benediction that's going to follow. And I want to thank you both for your blessings. See, having you here with us today, the rain is gone. God's been good to us, right? today would not have taken place without the following very key people, and I mean that sincerely. Tom Bruin. Tom, are you here? He's our Director of Public Works. Where are you, Tom? I can't, here he is, he's so modest. Tom, you are the best. I don't know what I would ever do without you. He got the ball rolling. Also, Luann Dorier, county architect, who has been with this project from the very beginning, working with the nearby neighbors, and sometimes that wasn't that easy, and worked on every single detail. Where are you, Luann? Because you're invaluable. Where are you? Look at these people all hiding. There she is in the back. Now these are the guys that put it all together. And I was here last Tuesday. Didn't look like this. They worked around the clock. The county construction staff who worked around the clock to open today are Sina Vasson. Where are you, Sina? Sina, there you are. Ralph George, where's Ralph? Ralph, I know you're here. Okay, there you are in the back. I see you, Ralph. Ramesh Patel, you're in the back. David Scott, where are you, David? I know they were all here. Sunil Igala, are you here, Sunil? I can't thank you fellows for all that you have done working around the clock to make this day a reality. Many, many, many thanks to you. And I know there's many others, so I'm very grateful that we have this wonderful day in this community. A long time waiting, as I told you, 30 years, finally happened. So it's quite obvious with today's turnout, and it's a wonderful turnout, that the district is very much in favor of this beautiful library. And I thank all of you for joining us for this significant event. In all honesty, we could not have done it without you, no matter where you live. If you supported the bond referendum, thank you very much, because you, the taxpayers, made this possible. Thank you, everyone. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce Corinne Dorr, Potomac District Library Trustee, to say a few words with us. Corinne?
Good afternoon. My name is Corinne Dorr, and I am honored to welcome all of you to our Montclair Community Library and the Potomac District. I thank Mrs. Caddigan. It was 4 years ago this month. She asked me to be her appointee, and I didn't know what I was getting into, but here we are. So if you'll indulge me, you're going to hear a couple, we didn't check each other's speeches, but not too much of a rerun. Over 16 months ago on this very site, the county supervisors and Library Board of Trustees broke ground for the beautiful building you're standing in today. The building didn't just happen overnight, though. Many decades passed before the dream became a reality. My story, when we were transferred here in 1992 because of the Marine Corps, we were being driven around Montclair, and on this property stood a sign saying, "Library coming soon," right in the corner. 1992. My children were 4 and 8 at the time. They're now 27 and 32. True story. My husband's right over there, and he was on a ship halfway around the world. It was actually his CO who was driving around like he was the king of Montclair. But anyway, I did not think this project would ever come to fruition. Then the voters authorized the bond in 2006, allowing for library construction. Thanks to the generous votes of the supervisors in 2014 to fund the library construction, our wait is now over. Thank you. Thank you. And this is extremely important to me. We live not quite 2 miles from here. We live here in Montclair. And I am a 4th grade teacher at Henderson Elementary. My children, my former students, one of them was singing with us today, my future students, their families will benefit from this library. Modern-day libraries are more than just buildings with books. They are gathering places for groups of all ages, from tots to teens to seniors, free computer access and Wi-Fi, literacy volunteers, taught programs, summer reading programs, outreach programs, after-school programs, just to name a few, and all within reach of our schools and neighboring communities and at no charge to the patron. And a community library is truly this, truly is, since residents had a say in the design from the beginning concept drawings for this library. Several of us met with residents who gave their input about the proposed building. Dick Murphy was with us at the time, and one of the structural changes is the parking garage underneath this building, which allows for much of the property to remain in its natural state. Our property actually goes to 234, but fortunately we don't have to see 234. The environmentally friendly building is also eligible for the LEED Silver certification thanks to the vegetated green roof and other sustainable features. This building is not going to impact Lake Montclair and Powell's Creek because it is a certified green building. Only impacted to the good. How nice to have a modern facility with state-of-the-art technology and also traditional services available in a community setting for the Potomac District and all of Prince William County residents. Historic preservation is alive and well at the Montclair Community Library as we pay homage to the Barnes family and their home that now stands in its permanent place on this property. People of all ages will be able to learn about Eppa Barnes and Amanda Lambert Barnes, who were married on July 1st, 1875 in Prince William County and raised 12 children in that little house. 12 children. Eppa Barnes was a farmer and a woodsman. Amanda Barnes was a midwife and later became a school teacher. Now their restored home will educate many generations to come about Prince William County's rich African-American heritage. Sidney Sheldon stated, "Libraries store the energy that fuel the imagination. They open up windows to the world and inspire us to explore and achieve and contribute to improving our quality of life." The quality of life in the Potomac District and Prince William County has improved for all, thanks to the supervisors honoring the voters' wishes of building 2 new libraries for Montclair and Gainesville Haymarket. People of all ages and generations to come will be able to enjoy all these libraries have to offer. Welcome to the Montclair Community Library and the Potomac District.
Thank you, Corinne. I'm going to jump over the agenda and bring forth. It is certainly an honor for me to have Congressman Rob Whitman with us today. He does have another schedule. He is working with other people who are running for office. The election is Tuesday, and I know he has a very busy schedule, so I would like you to come forth, if you wouldn't mind, Congressman, and say a few words.
Maureen, thank you, and good afternoon, Prince William County. What a great day. I tell you, what a great day for the Montclair community, for folks to come together. And you know, folks, our libraries truly are the heart and souls of our community. They're a place where people come together, where they can share information, they can share time, they can share company, they can come here and learn. They have access to the digital age, the information highway. What a great testament to the community, too, for the perseverance, as you've heard, in making sure today happened and getting this building built. And today's the first step in the process. You know, the building is an important part of this, but this building will come alive because of what each and every one of you in this community will do to make it come alive. And the stacks that'll be here and the opportunities for our students to learn here, for our parents to be able to bring their children here, for them to learn, for our adult population to come here and learn more, for our seniors to come here and enjoy this opportunity. What a great day. And there are a lot of people here, as you heard, that were thanked before, but I want to reiterate that thanks. I want to thank our Board of Supervisors here for the vision. And Maureen, thank you so much for your leadership to make sure you had that sole focus to make sure that today happened. Thank you, too, for the Board of Trustees for the library. It takes a lot of additional effort to make sure a day like today comes to fruition, as well as the Library Foundation. It takes a few dollars, too, in addition to the county dollars, to make today happen. And especially, folks, thank you to the Montclair community and the citizens of Prince William County, because without you, today doesn't happen. And without you, this library doesn't come to life. So thank you for what you do to be part of today. Standing room only. What a great testament to the community, not just to the building, but to the library that this becomes, and the absolute representation of the community that this becomes in the weeks and months to come. So folks, thanks again. Thank you for allowing me to share in this special day with the community. Thank you for what you've done to make today happen. Thanks for what the community's done. But thank you for what you will do to make this library come alive in the weeks and months to come. May God bless each of you. May God bless our great Commonwealth of Virginia. And may God bless our United States of America. Thank you.
How many times do we get to see a congressman come to an opening of a library or to come here and meet with him one-on-one? Thank you so much. I know you have a very, very busy schedule. And now it is my pleasure, a very special person that we all have known over the years. Very happy to have with us today, Dick Murphy. For some of you who did not know who Dick Murphy was, he was the former county library director. Connie took his place when he retired. And he was with us from the very beginning to make sure that the libraries, once again, the key word, that they would get into a bond referendum. So that was in 2006, and look at this is 2015. Look at how many years it takes to get something done. So without further ado, I would love to have Mr. Murphy come forth and say a few words.
Too bad nobody cares about the library anymore, isn't it? I just finished rereading, actually, a great biography by Walter Isaacson. It's a biography of the theoretical physicist named Albert Einstein. And this is a very important year for Einstein because it's 100 years this year since the publication of something that has actually changed the world, and that is the general theory of relativity. Einstein was actually a very interesting character from the time he was born all through his life. To quote Isaacson, Einstein was slow to learn how to speak. His parents even consulted a doctor. He also had a cheeky rebelliousness towards authority, which led one headmaster to expel him and another to amuse history by saying that he would never amount to much. But these traits helped make him a genius. His cocky contempt for authority led him to question conventional wisdom. His slow verbal development made him curious about ordinary things, such as space and time, that most adults take for granted. His father gave him a compass at age 5, and he puzzled over the nature of magnetic field for the rest of his life. And he tended to think in pictures rather than words. After he finally got through school, he was evidently an indifferent student. He finally got a job as an assistant patent examiner in Switzerland for several years. He was evidently a mediocre employee and was passed over for promotion several times. He also, during this period, tried to secure a PhD, but was not successful. He worked on what he called his thought experiments and theories in his free time, fighting not only the limitations of the conventional wisdom of physics at that time, but also the rabid anti-Semitism that was so prevalent. But eventually he was recognized as perhaps the most significant theoretical physicist of his time. He left Germany in the 1930s with a rise in Hitler and Nazism, and eventually became an American citizen in 1940. Later in life, he was revered as a kind and wise grandfather figure who could always be counted on for an illuminating quote. Which leads me to the reason that I bring him up today, because he was once asked if there was one thing that he felt was essential for everyone to know. His response, the only thing you absolutely have to know is the location of the library. So after more than 30 years of waiting, the people of Montclair and the Potomac District know that 5049 Waterway Drive is that location. Now, as you know, I love the institution of the public library, but institutions do not exist in a vacuum. It takes a lot of hard work and support to accomplish what the library does each day and what has led to the construction of this truly wonderful building. First, I want to thank the library staff, a wonderful group of efficient and effective people who truly care about public service. And special thanks to Connie and her administrative staff who had made this dream a reality. When I retired, this looked really good on paper, but it hadn't been built yet, and an awful lot of effort had to go into that building. Next, I want to thank the county staff who have worked very hard on these library projects, including the inimitable Brendan Hannifin, who you will hear about soon, who took on this strange notion we had to incorporate a couple of historic homes into the designs of these libraries. Of course, we picked a great architectural firm, the Lukemire Partnership, who came up with really innovative ways to create beautiful library buildings while cleverly incorporating the historic homes. That was a very difficult thing to do. I don't know of any other library system that has incorporated buildings like this, so it was a great accomplishment. I think they've just done a wonderful job. As you drive up the road here and come around that circle and see the Barnes House and then come into the building, it's really a very, very good way to combine the two assets of the library and that historic home. Of course, the Library Board deserves credit for its leadership over many years in pushing to have this project included in the county's building program. The project was in, then out, then in, then out, then in, but they never gave up hope, and they kept pushing. I'm going to do a special recognition for Fran Chavez, who was a longtime library board member for this district and who unfortunately died last year and pushed very hard along with the rest of the board to get this library accomplished. Certainly, the support of the Board of County Supervisors was essential, and because of the determination and leadership of Supervisor Maureen Caddigan, that support gained traction and blossomed. I have said this many, many times, and I continue to say it. This project would never, one more time, never have happened if it wasn't for her. I know it took an awful lot. It took an awful lot. It wasn't easy for the board to put into the budget the resources that were needed to build and staff these libraries. So it was a leap of faith, but I think it's a leap of faith that you can see today has really paid off for the community. And I would be remiss if I didn't do a shout out to Supervisor Marty Noe, who decided that he admired the library almost as much as the landfill and became our champion during the difficult time of the recession. Finally, a special thanks to a group of people to whom the library owes an immeasurable debt. The Library Foundation, under the able leadership of Brianna Altman, has worked continuously behind the scenes to garner the political, business, and community support that has made these two new libraries possible. I am proud and honored to have been asked to serve on the board of this important organization. Now, our National Day of Thanks is still about a month away, but I can assure you that today is my day of thanks. Congratulations.
And ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, it is my pleasure to now introduce Brendan Hannifin, a Montclair resident. He is the county's Chief of Historical Properties, and when you see the Barnes House out there, he and the staff have done a remarkable job of bringing it back to life. Brendan worked tirelessly on the Barnes House and will share with us some of its history. Let's give him a warm round of applause.
Well, I don't know if it's fair to follow all these speakers. I might have an issue with that. But thank you, Supervisor Caddigan and Connie. Good afternoon, everyone. All I can say is, wow, what a beautiful library. And we also had an opportunity to save an important historic home. That's a great accomplishment for a community. The Barnes House, built in 1797 at Independent Hill, what we now know today as the Barnes House, is a typical upscale Virginia residence in the turn of the 1800s. So when you go look at it, it was an upscale residence at that time. Although we were unsure when it was built or who built it, Moses and Nancy Copen purchased the property in 1834. They were a wealthy family. They owned 7 enslaved Virginians, including Jane Barnes and her 3 children. At the end of the Civil War, the Barnes family, like many Prince William County enslaved residents, made the long hoped-for transition from enslaved to free. Jane's son, Eppa, exercised his new freedom by leaving the Copen farm. Eppa returned to Independent Hill and married Amanda Lambert, and remarkably, he eventually bought the Copen farm in 1899, and that is remarkable. Despite the numerous hardships Eppa and his wife Amanda endured, they amassed over 300 acres of farmland and raised 12 children. Today, the Barnes House is a place to learn about the Barnes family and about the lives of African Americans during the period of Reconstruction and Jim Crow. After the ceremony, I invite you to visit the Barnes House to learn more about Prince William County's newest 218-year-old historic site. Thank you.
Oops, gotta make this down. Thank you very much, Brandon. We all are really looking forward to working with you to do interpretive programs at the Barnes House. I would like to read a letter that this library system has received from Senator Mark Warner. He can't be with us today, but one of his aides is here with us, Anna. Thanks, Ann. Dear friends, I am pleased to extend my warmest greetings to all who are gathered for the grand opening of the Montclair Community Library. Libraries are essential to the health and future of our communities. As the second Prince William County Library System development project to open in the past week, the Montclair Community Library will make a positive impact on the literacy and lifestyle of residents. We need concentrated efforts to grow participation in early childhood literacy opportunities and to teach youth the love of reading. This 20,000 square foot full-service facility will serve as Prince William County's central meeting place for organizations. Publications and computers can be used at no charge. I applaud all those who have worked so hard to make this day possible. Your commitment to help strengthen the community and improve the lives of others is to be commended. On this important occasion, I am very pleased to join with your community and wishing the Montclair Community Library the very best for a successful and fulfilling event. Sincerely, Mark R. Warner, United States Senator. We're coming to the end of this wonderful celebration today. We're going to have Pastor Gary Carruthers from Montclair Tabernacle providing a benediction for this building. After he concludes, I welcome members of the Board of County Supervisors, the Library Board Trustees, and the officers and directors of the Prince William Public Library Foundation and library staff to step up for the ribbon cutting after this. And again, I wish to thank all of you for coming out on this wonderful day and helping us celebrate this wonderful building.